Ted at Windy Hill Farm, Handy Horseman YouTube channel. This is the third video on working with the young colt and mother before weaning time to get the colt ready to wean. If you haven't watched the prior videos, I recommend you do that. Once again, this is a baby. It's about 4 months old, and it's a mare we bought that was already bred, and she had a baby here back in the summer. And about the only handling this baby's had is my wife has gone out in the evenings and just petted it, and we imprinted it the first day or two that it was born. So, you know, it's not quite as wild as a deer, but it's a baby that if we didn't handle things correctly, could get pretty wild. So, all right, so in our prior videos, what we did is we worked on just softness and just getting that baby doing what the mother does, okay? And not getting it afraid. Just, it's kind of like icing a cake. You know, I'm gonna take my wand here and I'm gonna try to correct myself from my prior videos. Nikki reminded me I wasn't using the proper signal. Bad manners. So when I have my wand on the ground like this, that means walk. When I pick it up to waist high, that means trot. When I pick it above their withers, that means canter. When I put it behind my back, that's neutral. That means we stop, okay? This means stop. So the reason I tell you that is when I start schooling this mare in hand, or when I start schooling this baby in hand on a lunge line or my horseman's rope, I'm gonna use that same signal, that same communication. So trot, okay? And then when I want to walk, I lower it to the ground, reduce my energy, back up. So see, when I release pressure, back up, we transition down. A key point right there that a lot of people, when they're round penning, what they'll do to slow their horse down, they cut it off like that. No, I don't want to do that. What I want to do when I slow down is I want to add pressure. Okay, we're going to turn. See how that baby mirrors the mother? Okay, I'm going to add pressure. This is pressure. Now, release. And I'm backing up. I'm going to back up. Okay. Go back up, see? Go back up. Back up. I'm lowering my energy. It's tempting to cut her off, but that doesn't do us any good right now. When I want to turn, I might cut her off, but right now I'm transitioning. And I want a nice soft walk. See how nice everybody's walking? It's soft, and there's no resistance. There's no fear. So I'm looking in their eyes. Their eyes are relaxed. They're watching me. They're not looking around and squealing. See, what used to happen, we'd wean these babies. Well, doggone it, they miss their mom. They're squealing around looking for their mom, and we put a halter on them. We're trying to lead them, and they're pulling back, and it just turns into a ruckus. So I've spent a lot of time thinking about that. And I'm trying to figure out ways to do that that'd be very helpful for people and myself to learn to do this better, okay? We talked in the earlier videos, if you got some old mare that's rank and a little tough, it might be best to get that baby away from that mare, because that baby will take up that mother's behavior. But in this situation, it's a sweet little mare, and nice little baby, and everything's going to work out okay. Now, this baby is a little stud colt. It's about 4 months old. I probably won't castrate this colt until he's about 18 months old, all right? So what we'll do here, when we get to about 6 months, and a lot of times I just kind of let the mare make the decision on when to wean that baby. She'll get to where she doesn't want it to nurse, and a lot of times they'll just kind of wean them themselves. And then we'll bring the baby in and get it started in the barn, and we'll get it started on grain before we wean it. At 18 months old is when we'll castrate him. And a key thing to remember there is when you castrate these stud colts, while you've got them sedated, go ahead and check them for wolf teeth too. Remember I said that, because while you got him zonked out and he's on the ground, you can get in there and pull those wolf teeth, and that will do him a big favor for the rest of his life. We see a lot of horses come in here still got their wolf teeth at 8, 10 years old. That is an important thing to get those wolf teeth out. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I got my wand up, I'm gonna ask for a trot, okay? Now I'm gonna ask for a canter. Come on. Okay. I'm gonna go back to a trot. Okay. There, how about that? Like that. But now look how the proper word would be fluidly, my little baby goes into his canter. Okay. And he picks up the right lead, okay? Look at that, okay. So at this young age, we're teaching him. Now see, I didn't cut him off right there because it just wasn't gonna work exactly right. So now, stop, okay. And we're teaching this baby how to organize his feet and get the proper leads. It really irritates me when people start training, they call it, trainers, training on a horse and fighting with them to get the right leads when they're 2 years old or 3. But right here, you could start right here. See there? So I'm teaching him at a very young age, let's get that lead right. Let's get our feet organized. And if he gets it wrong, I'll let him go along wrong a little bit and he'll say, that's a lot harder work than doing it right. Okay? How about that? So now, we're gonna go the other direction. So you got the wrong lead and he didn't like that. So now we're gonna try it the other way. Come on, Junior. See there? I'm not so worried about what the mare's doing right now. I'm just kind of watching this baby. Because if I put the pressure on this mare to canter, I got to put too much pressure on the baby. My focus is on the baby right now, which I can already tell you the old mare, she came from somewhere where they've not schooled her properly at a young age to do this, and I'm gonna have to get her in here by herself and handle it a little different. But when I've got a tender little baby like this, I got to be careful because every little bit, I mean, it doesn't take much, okay? All right. So now I'm going to release the pressure by stepping back. See there? When I did that, I released the pressure. Everything slowed down. Both mother and baby are licking their lips. Drop their heads. Now they're going to look at me. See there? She's looking at me. He's looking at me. All right. So now I'm going to drop my whip, okay? We'll take things to the next level here. Ooh. See how she's looking away from me? Because she's not sure what I want to do. So now I'm gonna, see there when she dropped, when I touched her, she dropped her head. So I'm not gonna even go after the baby yet. I'm just gonna let the mother kind of show the baby what we gotta do here. Okay. See, she looking away from me? It's not what I want. She's just not sure of herself or what I want to do. So we do a lot of horsemanship education here, and we have people come from all over for horsemanship education. And the first thing I tell people in order to do this right, you got to learn to communicate with an animal, okay? And when I say communicate with an animal, it's just things like this right here. We're communicating. Where this communication is important, okay? There's no way we can ride her until we can communicate with her and she trusts us and she looks at us and she doesn't respond to us to just avoid our wrath. She does things because she wants to or we ask her to. And big mistake you can make right now is I go up there and give that baby a treat and I guarantee you I could get it to follow me anywhere. Well, I'm just going to make a fool of him if I do that. That obedience obtained through bribery is not long-lasting, opposed to the occasional treat, but you got to handle it right. You know, I look at treats as something that's like a tool. You got lunge whips, you got riding crops, you got driving reins, you got lariats, you got lunge whips, you got hobbles, you've got bits, you got bridles, you got halters, you got spurs, you got all these tools, treats, whatever. You got to be like a good carpenter. You got to know when to use your tools and when to put them away and not use them anymore, okay? But if I come out here every time and hand that baby a treat, well, then I've made a fool of him, and every time I go to reach in my pocket, he's going to come over here and look for a treat. So, you know, like that song says, know when to hold them and when to fold them, and I want that horse to come to me because it wants to be with me. Because if I do it that way, I can walk out in 100 acres and catch that horse. But if I have to capture that horse or get it in a corner to catch it, or if I have to give it a treat or a bucket of grain to catch it, well, as long as I got all that stuff with me, I suppose I can catch it. So what I'm doing right now while I'm talking to you is I'm just walking around the baby, but I'm not looking at the baby, okay? I'm looking at the mother. And I'm kind of leaving the baby out, and I'm hoping that the baby is going to want some of this companionship that I'm giving the mother. So see here how I'm standing here, and I'm petting both of them. The mother's not running away. Mother's standing here nice and quiet. Then I just leave, okay? Just leave. My energy, okay? So this is why I like having the mother in the pen. Because if I had the baby in the pen by itself, I doubt I'd be getting this response right now. Okay, so here in a little bit, I'm gonna put a halter on the mother, and then I'm gonna get a brush, and I'm gonna brush everybody. But before I brush this baby, I'm gonna rub it with my hand. So everything you do with a horse, and particularly a baby, it has to be in progression, where if I took a brush at first, that might be too scratchy, too abrasive, but I'm gonna just use the softness of my hand, just like that. See there? Just like that. Then I'll get my brush. But I already know my wife is, last summer, you know, and this baby was little, she was out there rubbing all over it and rubbing its legs and picking its feet up. Kathy's always been the Foal imprinter around here. She just got such a gift for it and is so good at it and so patient with it. We've always had good horses because of that, because we always start out on the right track, okay?